But let's turn now to the amazing 33-year search by the survivor of a fiery Air Force helicopter crash to meet the decorated hero who saved his life. Philip Dunn now lives in Victor Harbour and is terribly scarred by the ordeal, but he's never lost his sense of humour, nor his deep desire to personally thank the South Australian pilot who risked his own life to pull him to safety. When all seemed lost, he enlisted the help of reporter Frank Pangallo, who tonight tells Philip's most incredible and touching journey.
When I heard the bang and then we started corkscrewing in, that's when I knew we were in big trouble.
I then saw there were people trapped in various places. The aircraft had started to burn. Dunny was trapped under one side of the helicopter and he was already burning, so there were flames around him.
Philip Dunn, or Dunny as he was affectionately known to his fellow 9th Squadron crewmen, is one of the luckiest men alive.
If it wasn't me in the chopper, it would have been one of my mates. It was just pot luck. I drew that bird and that's the one I stuck with.
He was a gunner on board an Iroquois helicopter on a routine military exercise in Queensland in 1981 when trouble struck.
We were going to go down no matter what. We're over scrub and we're probably approximately 50 feet above treetop. And the only way is down.
We lost our tail rotor drive shaft and a helicopter is pretty much uncontrollable when that happens.
Mark Eldridge was one of the co-pilots.
My side of the cabin was crushed. And I didn't actually know which way was up, which way I was facing, and all I knew is I had to get out.
I can remember being pinned under the wreckage still. I can remember being on fire and screaming for help, and I couldn't get out because my ankles were pinned, but I could thrash around, but I still couldn't put the fire out, and it was just kept engulfing me. Magnesium is what got me, and avturf as well, mixed together. Highly toxic.
It seemed futile. I tried to lift the helicopter off him. Clearly a waste of time, but you'll do anything to try and get someone out. I grabbed him by the shoulders. I think I grabbed him by his harness and pulled several times, and then the flames would sort of leap up and you'd go back in and try again.
I thought this is the end of life now. No more living.
But Mark Eldridge and the chopper's captain, Wayne Bowen, managed to get Dunny and another of the trapped crew out with seconds to spare. The chopper was incinerated, and they couldn't save one of the crewmen killed on impact.
It wouldn't have taken many more seconds of him being there before he was going to die, so it was pretty miraculous.
However, Philip suffered horrific injuries. He actually died 3 times on the operating table that night and spent the next 16 months in hospital.
The pain sort of wasn't there because it was so bad. I suffered 40% burns full thickness with half a backbone shaved off, a smashed right collarbone, smashed arm, lost a little finger on the right hand side, smashed left ankle, punctured left hip where a bolt had gone through into the bone. But that never heals. It heals sometimes, and then other times it just breaks down and still stays there. Scarring is, it's a pretty mess, but at least I'm here. I can still get around, I do things.
Dunny never saw his rescuers again. Their lives took different paths. Philip never fully recovered and was eventually medically discharged. His scars are both physical and psychological. The pain, constant.
About a 7 out of 10. It just aches all the time. And there's days that you just don't want to get up, and the days that we do is just lay on the couch. But it hurts, it hurts a fair bit.
Mark Eldridge and Wayne Bowen received the Star of Courage from Prince Charles in 1983 for their acts of bravery.
I've got a theory about courage. Courage is when you're fearful and you go and do it anyway. I don't remember being scared. I just remember things had to get done, and all of us that were okay went and did them. We just pulled people out. So there wasn't a perception that I could die doing this.
He deserved it for what he put his own life at risk to save mine. That he could have exploded and he would have been dead too.
Mark had a distinguished flying career in the Air Force, rising to command a squadron of Hornets before retiring a few years ago.
I do wonder about where the guys ended up, how it affected their lives. I was one of the very lucky ones, very minor injuries, and I was back to flying within 6 or 8 weeks after the accident.
Dunny spent 13 years fighting for compensation. He got nowhere near what he endured. He's currently on a disability pension, but here's what hurts him even more. The Commonwealth refuses to give him a total and permanent impairment pension because, would you believe, his injuries are not bad enough.
It's the stage where you push and push and you ask and you ask and you ask and they just keep putting it off and off and you just give up in the end. It just gets to you and you think, oh well, can't be bothered anymore. It's just not worth the agony of waiting and knowing whether you're going to get a phone call or not. So you let it go and just happy to what I got.
But there's something else Philip Dunn has badly wanted for 33 years.
The man saved my life. Risked his own life to save mine. And to me, you know, you've got to find that person. You've got to have the nous to go up and say, well, thank you. It's because of you I'm still here and I'm still living and still do things I want to do. And it's a gut wrencher.
Dunny contacted Today Tonight for help. It took us lots of calls, emails and letters, but we eventually tracked down Mark Eldridge while visiting his mother in Adelaide on a bike ride raising money for Beyond Blue.
I just find it amazing that he's been on this quest for so long. It's quite touching.
That's where we arranged the reunion.
Here he is.
How are you?
Good to see you.
Mate.
Wow.
Long time.
Wow.
Jesus Christ.
Goodness me.
Finally got to see you again.
Yeah. Wow. Thanks for doing this.
Oh, mate, I've been trying for years.
Yeah, I heard.
Yeah,
I
it's been a
heard.
long time.
Yeah, you're looking very well.
Oh, I've managed.
Particularly
Yeah.
based on how
Probably,
you looked when I last
hair
saw
all
you.
burned.
Yeah.
It was a relief, but by hell I was scared. Absolutely frightened to see him. But it was just, I didn't know how to react in front of him. And I think he got the results I thought I would. And it was just, we just held one another.
He's such a bubbly, fun-loving guy. He hasn't given up on life. You know, a lot of people could in his circumstances, and yet he's got this great sense of humour that he, you know, had back then.
Well, there's one thing I'd like to say to you, Frank, it'd be thank you for what you've gone and done for me over 4 years. It means a lot to me. It's obviously you've put a lot of time and effort into this to find Mark Eldridge, who actually pulled me out of the chopper. And to me, I can't thank you enough for it. I'm muchly appreciated, and so is my family. Thank you very much. Thank you for everything you've done for me, and thanks for saving my life, mate.
You're welcome.
It's unbelievable. I'm glad to have found you and caught you again.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sit on your daddy.
Just so special, isn't it? And don't forget to buy your poppy to commemorate Remembrance Day. That's on Tuesday.